Oh, hey, welcome to another episode of Maynard Morty Uncut. Today we're going to talk about this new style of art. Well, it's not new, it's painting on canvas. But, anyways, what I'm talking about is so I'm an artist, and typically I carve out of wood and then paint it. I do fish carvings, and, you know, I started out doing decoy carvings, for duck hunting and stuff like that. Um, but I've always been afraid to paint on canvas or any sort of two dimensional, because I just feel like making it look three dimensional, it just seemed like a lot. And so I've never, anyway, so carving business, carving's been slow lately. So I decided to take the challenge to let's just do it. And I'm going to show you my first two that I did the other day. Well, within the past week. Come on. Oh, here's my posse or my flock. Got a few golden up on the wall here. Don't mind them. They're nice. They're friendly. Alright, here we go. Let's get this set up. Alright, so this is the second one I did. I did two kind of at the same time, more or less. But here's a muskie chasing down a brook trout. And this one was fun to do. It's interesting. When you do the background, playing with the lighting, and there was no reference picture for this, so luckily I know what a brook trout looks like and a muskie looks like. But there was a lot of challenges with this one. But part of the challenge was playing with the illusion, the depth of it, mainly with on the bottom here, the floor of the river. This is from a river, and then trying to make the fish look. I don't know if it looks three dimensional to you or if it looks realistic, but that was the challenge for me, because when you look at it like up close like this, and you're painting, you're like, nah, it doesn't that. But then when you have to like step back, and you're like, okay, I like that. Okay, so you just have to accept things. And the reflection was the other thing that I'm not used to. This whole thing I'm not used to, but the reflection was tricky. And so playing with the different hues, tones of, the whites, the off-whites, the yellows, and then the direction, because obviously I have to get the direction of the reflection has to be related to the shape of the object. So if it's one of these branches, or the bottom, or the fish's back. So, but that's I enjoyed doing that because it allowed me to give it that look of the actual shape of the fish. Where when this is all just like greens and browns, it was a little trickier. So it helped out. I'm gonna be making prints of these. We'll see how those come out. That's gonna be a challenge too, because I don't even know what I'm doing. But I know people take pictures of them, and people take them to like print shops and stuff. So that's where I'm gonna go. And here's one that I did. This was my first one I did. I don't know. Yeah, you can probably see that. So this is my first one I did, and I had a reference picture for drawing the head out, just the drawing part, and the rest of this is all made up. And the golden shiner, it's all just made up. And the coloration, like I said, I just totally wung it. I know what a largemouth bass looks like. So the tricky part on this one was the direction of the scales. So when I first went through and did this painting, I did the head first, and I did the scales, and they looked awful up close. But when I took a picture of it, it actually looked legit, and I was like, that's interesting. But when I wasn't happy with it. So as an artist, a lot of times you're not happy, so you just go for more improvement, and you're always trying to improve until at some point you want to just kind of like call it, because you're gonna have to finish at some point. But so the tricky part on this one was the direction of the scales because of the shape of the fish, the shape of the body. Like his body's kind of angled, like kind of tilted, and then then you've got the curvature of the body, and it's like because it's sharper. The roundness is sharper here, and it kind of flattens out more so here. But then as the fish is turning away in the background, it gets your scales get smaller, 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 and then they have that illusion of uh, less detail, and that's kind of the less detail is a little easier. The more detail was like, what kind of detail do I need to add to each scale? Because obviously, like the black lateral line, okay, but now it looks too bold. And then, so then I kind of broke it up, but then I had like it just as bold here as it did here, and it didn't like needs to be faded. So there's just a lot of layer on layer on layer, and from what I've learned or how I do it in wood carving is that's what it takes. You have to put a layer down. Sometimes you have to seal it or just let it dry, and then do another layer, different colors, and then that's how you build up. It's basically just like this. Like I paint the background first, and then I paint whatever's next first, and then next, and then so everything's layered the way it presents itself. So the closest thing's gonna be the last thing you paint. And the golden shiner was debating between a lure or a bait fish, and I thought it'd be cool to have like the split shots tied to a small hook, and then would have to have bait in it. So this is kind of like an ice fishing scene, or maybe a summertime, bobber fishing, live bait fishing scene. But it was a lot of fun, and the shading. So as the curves away and you lose the detail, you also have to incorporate some shading, or the backside that like it has to fade, and that's what I had to do with the muskie and this one, and of course any of them that you would have to do to get it to lose the detail. So I basically did all this with one brush, the same brush that I did the whole other painting with. And then when I got to doing some of this, like the fin rays and stuff, the up close stuff, well, the brush was way too big, and so I'm mixing up. You dilute the pigment with water, and then it's too runny. So then you add a little more, and then you get it to the right consistency that you want. And then because the brush was too big, as soon as I'd hit the canvas, it would just blot on there, and then I'd go to draw my line. It was too watery. It like faded out, and it was just too bold, and well, not too bold, but too wide. So I went to the store and I picked up some really fine. Here, I can show you. I don't know my brushes very well, so these don't really have any sizes on them. Actually, this one does. So I did most of my art, most of these paintings with, actually this one has a size on it too. This guy right here, which is a size 8. Size 8. And as you can see, it compared to my finger, it's a little thick to be doing detail stuff. So I had a little smaller of a brush here that I was working with, and this got me through. These are round brushes, round tips. This is a size 1. Now this got me through, but it still wasn't good enough. So like I said, I went into the store and I picked up, and I ran with this 10-aught, which I'll show you the size difference here. It's pretty significant. Actually, it's not even comparable. And so I went back through and I did some of the finer detailing and stuff, and that helped out a lot in bringing the up close detailing to the painting. So the next painting I'm gonna do, I don't know what I'm gonna do yet. I'm thinking maybe a squid, a scene with some squid, or maybe a couple horses. So, we'll see. Stay tuned, and maybe I'll do a step by step. Maybe, I don't know. Or I'll just film some of my time painting, uh, because we're all here to learn, right? I know I am. Thank you.